Hi guys, welcome back to Canary Cast. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe and ding that notification bell to stay bang up to date. Right, me and Jacob thought we'd do a little video surrounding the Max AARONS rumours. Everton are the latest club linked. There's been plenty of clubs linked the last 12 months. I'm hoping that if we get promoted, it's enough for him to stay. Jacob is resigned to losing him pretty much, aren't you, mate?
Yeah, I think that the interest now and kind of the size of the clubs interested, the fact he didn't leave in the summer, I think there's probably been some sort of sweetener there where you say, right, Max, get us up, get us in a good position for the Premier League. And then if there's still that kind of concrete interest, which there seems to be, then we'll, not happily, but we'll let you go.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Let's focus on Everton first then, because that's the most newsworthy at the moment. We thought we'd have a look at what each club that seems to be in for him have on offer already and where Max could fit in. So, because why not, basically? Everton, Jacob. They've got Seamus Coleman, of course, John Joe Kenny, who's out on loan. Interestingly, both their contracts are up next summer.
Yeah, I think Max is a perfect fit there for them, isn't he? Really, in terms of the long-term fit for Coleman, who's been brilliant for them over the last 10 years, really. I don't think they really trust Kenny enough to fit in. Like you say, he's been on loan everywhere. It seems like it just doesn't seem to want to fit in. And as a younger fullback, he comes through the academy and they'd play him, but Carlo Ancelotti doesn't really rate him enough. And yeah, Max fits in perfectly. Obviously, Ben Godfrey went there. We did videos in the summer and say that he'd be the perfect fit there. I think for Max, it's exactly the same deal, really. I'm not sure if he's elite club ready just yet to be an elite club starter. So I think Everton, with a kind of really ambitious owner, ambitious in terms of investment, great coach, and a really good kind of young, prospering team up and coming, I think it's a perfect fit for him really at the moment.
Yeah, like I said, I hope we keep him in the summer. But I think the one thing with Everton is when they bought Godfrey, they obviously asked Webber how much he wants. He says the figure and they put the money on the table. There didn't seem to be too much bartering around it. So hopefully that's the case again in the summer. Do you think that's a thing, Jacob? Do you think we can start to sort of find clubs that are nice to negotiate with, if you know what I mean?
I think it's more important that clubs are more respected of Norwich now. Yeah. It's not just Norwich. You're not going to let them roll over and easily get a deal for them. I think apart from probably Todd aside, in terms of contracts, we are in the upper hand with everyone this summer and next summer as well. And that's kind of the main benefit you give and bonus and compliments you give to Webber, isn't it? Because he's made sure that every single player who is profitable, apart from Todd Cantwell, who could be an interesting one in the summer, is ready to kind of, if we don't have to sell them, do we? In terms of the contract length and kind of everything else, really. If we go up, we're in a stronger position, I think, value-wise. But for me, it's either Emmy or Max that you get rid of. And I think with the actual solid interest and the huge clubs that are interested, Max is unfortunately going to be the one.
Yeah, we need to sort that Cantwell contract out, but that's another video. Okay, let's move on to Man United then. Obviously, they got Diego Dalot out on loan at AC Milan. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who they paid 50 million quid for not that long ago. I think it was summer 2019. Is he getting in ahead of AWB?
Not for me, but in terms of the amount of games they play, Champions League will be next year, you'd imagine. Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup, there's a lot of games. Congestion isn't there, and obviously Wan-Bissaka's not going to be able to play all of them. You see some people say that Wan-Bissaka could go to centre-back. I haven't watched him enough to kind of, his strongest strength seems to be his slide tackling. You can't really do that as centre-back. And against a one-on-one, I wouldn't say it's a completely different position, right back as centre-back. But regardless, I think if you're looking at it, Max would be a backup in terms of emerging. And for me, I don't think he needs to do that in this time of his career. I think he's played about 60 to 70 consecutive games for Norwich now, which you're not going to get there. That's why a club like an Everton are going to be probably at this current moment a better fit, just simply because he needs to be continuing playing time like Ben Godfrey's done.
Yeah, I agree with you there. The other domestic club that have seemed to have been sniffing around is Spurs. Don't know. The Ollie Skip loan was a bit of a sweetener from Levy. We don't know. What do you make of it, Jacob?
I think it looked like it could have been done, and then Mourinho's probably not backed him. We'll go on to what he's good at, what he's not as good at in a moment. But I don't know if they back him enough in terms of his height. You look at Doherty and Aurier, they're quite big, they're taller as well. But they have both kind of flattered to really deceive, haven't they? They've been flashes of decency, but they're weak as well. You can get at them; they're liabilities, aren't they? And you think with Max again fitting into how young he is, just 21, he's got at least 10 years at Premier League level if he keeps going at the rate he is.
Yeah, absolutely. Serge Aurier's contract up next, not this summer, next as well, which is interesting. Couple of overseas clubs we want to talk about. First one being Bayern Munich, because we had the interest in January and it seems to have been going on for quite a while. They've obviously got Pavard, Bunasar, who you would fancy Max to get in ahead of as at least a backup, right?
Yeah, but then again, it's an interesting one. Obviously, a super club, a really kind of attractive prospect, isn't it? You know, they win the Bundesliga pretty much every year, very strong in the Champions League, and at this current time, have a really strong crop of players. But does he really want to go abroad? You think with the Roma interest that we'll go on to in a minute, he was fine with not going there. I think he's probably looking at it now and thinking if he wants to look at an England place, which is strong potential, he needs to be playing and probably in the Premier League where it's the most competitive league in the world, without a doubt.
It'll be interesting to see, well, we obviously don't know, but it'll be interesting to hear what Max's thoughts on playing abroad or whether he wants to stay in the Prem or England would be interesting to know. The other club, like you mentioned, Jacob, Roma, they've currently got like 4 right backs, but a couple are out in the contract in the summer. Can you see that one happening, a Serie A move? Because I can't.
No, defensively it probably solidifies game, wouldn't it? I think they're not really what they were in terms of kind of strength in this area. They're not going for the title sort of thing. And you just think if you're going to go for a club who is just challenging for top 4, you'd again go to the Premier League like an Everton, a Leicester, where they're competing every week in a better league, let's be fair.
And surely the Premier League and the Bundesliga are sort of prioritised over Serie A for a player these days, surely.
Yeah, well, it's the money as well, isn't it? It's without doubt the money.
Yeah. The only other club I wanted to mention, Barcelona, because we had that loan interest, of course, in the summer. Can you see them coming back in? Jacob's gone a bit quiet, hasn't it?
Not with Dest now being in there.
Yeah,
and for me and for AARONS, you're probably looking at it and going, that's a little bit of a mess there at the moment. Realistically, you want to kind of stay out of that financial turmoil. A huge club, but realistically, I think there's better clubs at the minute ready for him in his career.
Yeah. All right. Last, you obviously are resigned to losing him, but last question, how much do you reckon we'll get for him?
I think you've got to be looking at 30 to 35 million in terms of the bracket, the age bracket he's in. English always stumps up the price. If you go to Premier League, into the Premier League, it's an even bigger market and, you know, easier to negotiate with in terms of more money you want for him. So, yeah, I think that would still be a snippet in the long run. Yeah,
and I think with his age, being young still, there's always potential for add-ons as well, which you'd like to see in the deal, really, wouldn't you? Maybe an England add-on or whatever.
Yeah, without doubt. Whether he's done that with Godfrey, he's done that with Maddison. He knows exactly what he's doing there. There's no problem. I think we just need to kind of go on over his strengths and weaknesses, really, now, don't we?
Yeah, absolutely. So the fans know what they're getting if he does indeed move. Go on then, Jacob. Let's hear it. Let's hear you eulogise about Max AARONS.
I think, to be fair, the best compliment to give him is the last 3 or 2.5 seasons, really, from when this season finishes. He's been probably our most consistent player in terms of it doesn't matter if he's playing Ipswich away or playing Man City away. That guy will play in exactly the same way, doesn't try and overcomplicate things. And the best thing for him is he's the best right back in the Championship right now, and he's never kind of played like that. He knows his own ability, but he doesn't overshow it, does he? There's no silly flicks. There's no silly tricks. He keeps to himself very well. The height thing is an issue. When I first saw him, I thought, yeah, he is tiny. But realistically, he's never been at fault in the Championship for a cross at the back stick. He does that very well in terms of he's beefed himself up since he first started. And that obviously comes from when he develops in age as well. But yeah, the back stick, he's very good now, actually, in terms of being able to use his body. He's got a good leap on him as well. The only thing I would say is very quick, very determined, will give 100% every single game. Never really injured. Like I say, I think he's missed 2 games in 3 years, which is incredible. The only thing I'd say is he likes to back off the winger at times a little bit too much for me.
Yeah, especially if they're a quicker winger, but he is quite quick himself, so it's interesting that he does that.
He likes to throw himself in at blocks, doesn't he? I think
he does do it. Yeah,
why. He's very good at, Everton fans will know Godfrey's very good at doing the big challenges, the blocks. Now AARONS does exactly the same against Rotherham recently. Threw himself in, didn't he? And great block to help us win the game. But yeah, he's very good at the last ditch, very quick, good going forwards now. I think he's improved himself a lot this year. The staying in the Championship's helped a lot. and defensively sound. I think for me, 30 million to 35 million for a player who is going to be 10 to 15 years in the Premier League top level is an absolute bargain.
Yeah, like you said, he is so consistent. You could count the amount of mistakes he's made in a Norwich, individual mistakes in a Norwich shirt on one hand. It's very few, especially in the Championship. The only other thing I wanted to sort of just a nod at Max Aarons is his professionalism. There has been a lot of interest in him. This is not the first time interest has come about. He's just got his head down, played on, and he's played well as well. It doesn't look to have affected him, whereas others in the squad, perhaps it did.
No, you're spot on. There's never been any kind of rumblings from him. Never any, I want out now, which with people who have left, you could say, potentially there has been rumours about that. But no, he's been absolutely brilliant. And to be fair to him, with that mentality, he deserves to go right to the top. Yeah,
fair enough. He's been brilliant for us, and we wish him all the best if he does go. But fingers crossed he doesn't. I think we'll leave it there, Jake, unless you can think of anything else.
No, that's sound, mate. I think that gives everything we need to give for now.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, we'll be back with you on Sunday for the Wycombe game. We will be live, of course. Join us for that. But in the meantime, like, comment, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and enjoy the rest of your week. Cheers.